K-pop Demon Hunters premiered on Netflix on June 27th and it took everyone by storm. The straight-to-Netflix movie produced by Sony Pictures Animation, K-pop Demon Hunters skyrocketed in popularity on the streaming service, reaching top 10 in 93 countries tracked and was number 1 in 33 countries including South Korea, Brazil, France, Mexico, and the Philippines. This movie was essentially a box office smash but for home viewing. The film took a staggering 9 years to be developed with official production starting in March 2021 and served as a love letter to Korean mythology and displaying very capable and also very silly women engaging in combat with said demons. This product was very ambitious and director of the film Maggie Kang had many words to share in the process of the movie, and we're gonna delve into that and see what it took to bring K-pop Demon Hunters to life. Sony Pictures Animation in the 2010s has been on quite the monumental run as of late, coming off the heels of Hotel Transylvania to its global mega hit with Into the Spider-Verse, changing the landscape of animation forever, to releasing Mitchell's vs. the Machines, a family movie that also resonated with tons of viewers that watched it, to Across the Spider-Verse also being a juggernaut in the animation space. There's a ton of momentum that Sony Pictures Animation is heading into with the 2020s. And with the 2020s came an announcement in March of that year that there would be a new film underway titled K-pop Demon Hunters, a story about K-pop idols that are also tasked with killing demons to keep the world safe. K-pop Demon Hunters has many stars in this movie, but the true star behind the screen is Maggie Kang, a storyboard artist that has provided her talents on projects such as Madagascar Escape to Africa, Shrek Forever After, Puss in Boots, and so much more. Like I said before, Maggie Kang was developing this product for 9 years, and it originally wasn't going to be as bright and boisterous as what we saw on screen. Alongside Maggie Kang will be the co-director of this movie, Chris Applehands. Chris Applehands served as an illustrator on Coraline, was a concept artist and character designer of Monster House, and did environment design on Fantastic Mr. Fox. Coupled with this fact, they'll be working with the writing duo of Hannah McMecken and Dania Jimenez. The film was initially going to have a much smaller budget and carry a harsher tone than the movie ended up being. In an interview with Entertainment Weekly, Maggie Kang stated, "It was really my desire to see Korean people on film and animation, so it actually started off as just a demon hunter project where I wanted to showcase Korean demons, because demon hunting is usually a side job that's done in secret. It was like, what is their day job?" With this in mind, the movie has a foundation to build off from. She paid a keen eye to how the culture has shifted with the rise of K-pop winning the world over with numerous acts that you had to pay attention to. The movie ended up taking a lighthearted turn due to our protagonists and their personalities. While establishing our heroines for the movie, Maggie Kang wanted them represented in a specific way that is almost taboo in execution. She stated that, "I just wanted to see something different from the Marvel female superheroes that were just sexy and cool and badass, but I also wanted to see girls who had pot bellies and burped and were crass and silly and fun, because that's really what I am. So I just wanted to create something that encompassed all of those elements." Rumi, Mira, and Zoe, while being K-pop icons in their universe, they are portrayed as regular girls in scope. They all feel like actual best friends that are vulnerable with each other and don't have to keep up a front that they're all more than what they are, because outside of being K-pop idols, they're just regular girls to each other. Which is interesting because even though the K-pop aspect is extremely important in the story, also with it being in the title of the movie, it was actually the aspect that was focused on last. Remember how I said the story was supposed to be a lot harsher in tone? This was also in line with what the original idea of what the movie was going to be. In an interview with Forbes magazine, Maggie Kang speaks on Rumi's character and what she was going to be before she made it to the final draft. Rumi was going to be the black sheep of her family. It still had the themes of shame about their worth, but there was this girl who was kinda a dropout and failure, before discovering her lineage and living up to it, proving her own self-worth within herself. It was a story with ancestors and a little bit more Asian. The film specializes in stylized action with a blend of music-driven storytelling, all to bring out the narrative of the story. Chris Applehands spoke with Variety.com saying that he's always wanted to do a film about the power of music, to unite, bring joy, and build community. K-pop is the greatest embodiment of this in our lifetime, and we're really excited to honor and showcase that through the lens of animation. Maggie Kang also made mention of the rise and overwhelming interest in Korean culture, and K-pop over the years surprised her, even saying how when she was in elementary school in Canada, her teacher couldn't even locate Korea on a map. So to see her film be set in Korea and be so heavily involved with the culture, and the music to be beloved by fans and critics alike, was a surreal experience. The members of Huntrix were modeled after K-pop girl groups such as ITZY, Blackpink, and Twice, and Korean model Ahn Se-yeon inspired Mira's design. The idea was for all the members to look strikingly different in contrast to each other. Like with any animated project, large or small, there's always stories of production for the movie, and Maggie Kang spoke on how they animated Huntrix. She says, "Even with the way we animated them, they were different and distinct. With their smile, you'll notice Zoe has more of a heart-shaped mouth when she expresses herself. We wanted Mira to be long and lean because I love the look on a woman. I think that's so beautiful. With Rumi, we lean into a very classic, beautiful Korean look." Maggie Kang had a big emphasis on women acting silly and stupid, which she's made mention before that the idea didn't go over well on past projects, but then she'd adopt that approach for this movie, saying, "Screw that." She told her team to animate cavernous nostrils. We could see freckles and bags under their eyes and unfilled eyebrows. We used that look for moments where the girls were most vulnerable. The humanity aspect of the movie was a factor that was thought about painstakingly by the team, to display the girls in a very natural light without making them feel lost in their demon hunting occupation. And speaking of occupations, the K-pop portion of that is something to be taken into consideration as well. Executive music producer for the movie Ian Eisendrath spoke on getting the go-ahead from Chung Young, Chio, and Chaeyoung, members of the group Twice. Ian Eisendrath spoke on this development by saying, "We've created this fictional group, and then to have the real thing authenticated gave me faith in what we were doing. That they were interested, that they were willing. You never know when you dive into these things that are narrative if they're going to land in the music space outside." Twice themselves recorded their own version of the song Takedown used in the movie, and if you stick around for the credits, you can see them recording said song as well. The music portrayed in the movie deals with what's going on in the story at the time. It also plays into the central aspect of the movie, and this was also by design by Ian Eisendrath as well, saying that, "Our goal from day one was to have the songs double function as songs that forward or comment on the action story, because I do not believe you can take up screen time and not have it do something for the story. The usage of music does reflect that fact as it helps push the narrative further." Maggie Kang was set on seeing her vision of how she wanted the movies to play out on screen was something she felt was very important. The portrayal of women and the culture to be as true as it can be for everyone to understand and see how rich the culture can be, which she further expounds on in an interview with Entertainment Naver. "Since I was young, I have watched films set in various Asian cultures, and I always wanted to see an animated film that shows Korean culture, so I set on a journey to create a film that would show that beautiful aspect of Korean culture, heritage in various ways, while touching the hearts of people around the world, including myself." The first thing that came to mind was Korea's rich mythology, especially demonology, which deals with the supernatural world that is different from what we usually see in the media. Thinking about demons led me to the idea of demon hunters, and a group of cool female warriors who secretly fight villains and save the world. Luckily, this idea led me to a new kind of female superhero, a cool, strong, but flawed and imperfect being, a spoiled brat who loves to eat and overeat. This is the kind of woman I've always wanted to see on screen. The portrayal of women not being perfect was something that audiences can relate to. The members of Huntrix all have faults of their own that they acknowledge as shortcomings, but they try to find the positives with the negatives. For younger audiences, this is a great message to send to the viewers, that they don't have to be perfect themselves to achieve something meaningful, or look a certain way, and that is a central message that Maggie Kang delivered within the movie. Which paid off due to the amount of artists that reached out to Maggie Kang and told her that the film resonated with them, that they were able to relate to the characters and immerse themselves within this story. With every idea that Chris Applehands and Maggie Kang set forth, it proved to be a successful venture with how they represented everything within the movie. Now with its immense popularity and sheer reach throughout the world, people have been listening to the soundtrack on repeat and overall expressing their appreciation that the film exists. Sony Pictures Animation has yet another movie in the history books that has sparked conversation and made people fall in love with yet another world they were able to create. This film is very reminiscent of girl trios in animation during the 2000s, i.e. a Powerpuff Girls or a Totally Spies. The showcase of sisterhood against the odds coupled with some anime influence in the mix, K-pop Demon Hunters is another strong chapter in the book of Sony Pictures Animation. But what did you all think of the movie? Would you like to see them return to this world again? Which song of the movie was your favorite? Let me know in the comments and I'll see you all next time.